Hey there, happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing today? I'm Connie Fuksa with Foote Title Group, where we not only make sure that your home closing is smooth, simple, and easy to understand, but we protect your home ownership. So I hope you guys are having a great start to your day. I'm sorry I'm a little bit later today on Coffee with Connie than I typically am. I had an appointment I had to take care of this morning first, but I definitely wanted to get with you guys and talk about something that I get a question about all the time, and it is about the ownership of your property. So a lot of times people will say to me things like, when I purchased my house, I purchased it by myself, and now I'm married and I want to add my spouse to that ownership. Or some things have changed in my life and there's a person that's on the ownership of that property that I need to remove. How do I do that? Or if somebody passes away, what happens with the ownership of that property and how can that be changed? Or if a couple gets divorced and the ownership would change on that property for that reason. So I just wanted to address some of those things because a lot of times we get these questions and people don't really understand what those steps happen to be. So if you're tuning in, thanks so much for your time. Again, I'm apologizing. I'm a little bit later than normal, but hey there, Susan, how are you? Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I appreciate that. Looks like I'm running a little low on battery, so give me 1 second here. Let's get us a little charge going on. There we go. Sorry about that. Whew. Goodness, we're getting all kinds of technical difficulties. See, video isn't perfect. It doesn't always work exactly like it's supposed to, but there we go. Let's get it all back together. Sorry about that, guys. So, so let's talk about this ownership for a few minutes and some of those different nuances. There's only one thing that can change the ownership of your property, and that is a deed. And a deed needs to be prepared that transfers the ownership from the current owner to who you want the new owner to be. So that is true no matter what kinds of things are happening in your life that need to be addressed. So let's say, for example, when you purchased your home through, when you purchased it originally, you purchased it by yourself. And then, your life changed. You found someone, you fell in love, you decided to get married, and you want to add that person to the ownership of the property. You absolutely can do that. A new deed has to be prepared, and whoever the current owner is has to sign off transferring the ownership to the new owner, which in that scenario would be you and your new spouse. So that is one of the scenarios we're talking about. Let's say, for example, that you are in a married situation and you decided to get divorced, and one of the spouses is no longer going to be an owner. And this is a confusing area that people mix up a lot, because when you go through a divorce process in your divorce proceedings, it may say that, for example, Connie gets the ownership of the property, and just because it's in your divorce decree does not mean that it automatically transfers. That other person still has to sign off on that deed transferring the ownership to the person that is going to be the owner at this point. So in that scenario, if you have two spouses and they end up getting divorced and one of the spouses is going to be the new owner of the property all by themselves, then the other spouse has to actually sign a deed removing their name from that ownership. So, and that deed has to be recorded in the land records just like they all do once it is actually executed and the signatures are notarized. So again, same is true. If something happens, let's talk about if something happens to an owner and they pass away, that ownership then goes into their estate, and that estate has to sign off whoever has who has been granted the personal representative responsibilities for that estate to be able to transfer property on that estate's behalf. So that person would transfer the ownership to whoever that property is being sold to. So in order to transfer the ownership of a piece of property, it must be done through a deed. A deed actually transfers ownership. It's the only document that can, except for a court proceeding, and that's a little more complicated and would only be required in small instances where there's no other options. So to be able to transfer ownership, it has to be done through a deed. If you want to add someone to your ownership or remove someone from your ownership, a deed needs to be prepared. A title company and or an attorney can take care of those for you, and then it must be recorded in the land records where that property is located so that it becomes public record. So hopefully I gave you just a little information, maybe spurred a question, maybe a thought. Hey there, Paul. How are you this morning? Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and I really appreciate your time. If you have a question, maybe it brings up some more detail, maybe you want to make a change to your ownership, we can certainly walk you through that and have some discussion about that with you. And so Foote Title Group does closings and handles this type of paperwork in anywhere in Maryland and Virginia. We have offices in both states, and we can take care of any of those questions or concerns for you in either of those states, and would love to help you out. On our website, there is a whole section about ownership and deeds and transferring. There's a resource on the buyers and the sellers pages about this. So go to www.footetitlegroup.com. You can actually register for our informational emails that come out once a month. Today's the beginning of the month. My word for the year is execute, which means we are executing in the way that we provide information to you every month. So I have a new piece of content that's going to be coming out later today. So you want to get on that email list and sign up for that today. That would be a great resource for you. We don't blast you with a bunch of emails, but instead send you a lot of good information. So register for that on our website. You can also go find a lot of those pieces of resources on our website. And hopefully that helped you out a little bit today. If you want to know a little bit more about documents, there's also a sample documents package on our website that gives you a lot of the sample documents that you're asked to sign at closing. They're boilerplate. They're not going to be specific to your loan, but it'll give you some information there. So hopefully I helped you out with some information today. Thank you guys so much for your time. If you found what we talked about valuable, please hit the share button and share it with those people that you know, because even if you may not have a question, there may be somebody in your friends pool that does, and so that we can help them out too. So you guys have a fantastic day. I will talk to you again soon. You guys have an awesome day. I'm Connie Fuksa with Foote Title Group, where we make your home closing process simple and easy to understand, and we protect your home ownership. Have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.